Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Saturday Morning Coffee with Back to Basics Dog Training. As always, it's a pleasure to be here with you guys not each and every Saturday, every other Saturday morning, but I am live every Tuesday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to do this live Q&A session. For those of you who don't know me, and for those of you who do, I'm Leon. I'm the trainer here over at Back to Basics Dog Training. And like I said, each and every other Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, I go live to answer all your dog training questions. If you're watching now live or later on the replay, please shoot me a comment. Let me know you're watching. Let me know where you're watching from. And as always, the more comments, the more questions I get, the more pumped up I get, the more I try to help you guys out that truly have that balanced dog that you so dearly want and they so dearly need. So, with that being said, until I start seeing some questions or comments coming up, I start off with the topic of the week. Usually, it's something that I ran into during the week, and we're going to get going on that. So, I had the privilege of meeting a bunch of great people Wednesday evening. One of the people I met was a fellow dog walker, and the beauty of talking to her is, she's doing it from a dog walking business point of view, and I do things from a behaviorist point of view, and how beautiful we can actually merge together because I can help her increase her clientele, and of course she can help me increase my clientele. But when I was trying to explain to her how she can help not only her own dogs but her customers' dogs about the energy, um, you know, I really want to focus a lot of today's conversation on energy and how important it is not only in our dogs' lives, um, with our working with our dogs, it's so important in our everyday lives. Um, Energy is the key communication, guys, to everybody in in all the animal species in the world. We're the only ones who have the verbal communication that we understand. No other animal understands us talking. They get some certain, based on consistency, they understand the words based on what we teach them. If we teach a dog to sit, we're constantly making their butt hits the ground, we're praising them, treating them. So they learn that sound, the energy behind the word sit. But the most important form of communication is definitely your energy. And that works again in all the animal species in the world, not only dogs. It works in the human animals. Your energy dictates a lot of how your day is going to go, and how the days of the people surrounding you is going to go. So, based on my 4 C's of training, the calm, confidence, consistency to get the control, um, it's helping not only with, of course, our dogs, it's helping with our everyday lives around other people. And that's the hardest part of my job, is trying to tap into something every human being has, which is that calm, confident energy. So it's real important when you're working with your dogs. Don't look at their behaviors as bad behaviors. Look at them as unwanted. And what I mean by that is, an unwanted behavior is something that they just don't know how to do to the way you want them to do it. So if we look at it that way, it's easier to say, oh my God, my dog has a bad behavior. Theoretically, it's the same thing. It's no different than the glass half full, the glass half empty, which is a better way to look at things. Um, so if you choose to look at it and say, you know what, it's an unwanted behavior, let me teach you a better way to do it. And if you use your calm, confident energy, your dogs will respond. I had the privilege of doing an evaluation this week with 2 German Shepherds, one German Shepherd mix. And, the owners were concerned. There's, a new dog in the pack, and they were concerned about um, potential conflict. They were misreading the excitement that for possible aggression. There was some territorial. I'm not saying that if they're 100% great dogs, but there definitely was some more territorial stuff inside than outside. Um, but what I showed them is, the situation was when one dog came out of the crate, it ran right over to the other dog's crate in a dominant, I'm not going to say aggressive, dominant way. I don't know what word I'm looking for. And The problem being it was coming out of the crate too excited. The state of mind was somewhere else, not focused on the handler. And it said the other dog started making noises, and it says, I got to control this. And it went over. And of course, the other dog protected its territory, and it could have become an ugly situation. So, what I did is did threshold management in the crate. So, when dog A came out, she was calmer. And then I was able to control her with, like, say, the invisible leash, which is my energy, to stay away from dog B's crate. And she got it. She got it. And then the other issue they were having is when dog B came out, the crate, dog A was like, "Hey, what are you doing? Why are you coming out on that?" So I showed them in an evaluation on how to control that. And it all goes back to the initial meeting of dogs. When we introduce a new dog to our pack, we have to take the time to do it right. And what I mean by that is do not expect to bring a new dog into your home and expect them to be BFFs with the existing dog. The odds of that happening are slim to none. I'm not going to say it's impossible because some dogs just have a great personality and they just get along with everybody right away. But if the dog A has been in the house for X amount, for 6 months, a year, whatever, they do get territorial. Think about how they are in the wild. If they have their territory, another dog's not going to come in. And definitely not going to come in an excited state of mind. If it does try to come into another dog's territory, it's going to come in a submissive state of mind, saying, "Hey, I'm here to exist with you." Not coming in, "Hey guys, I'm here, yay, party time." They're not going to do that. So a lot of times when I see these dynamics, where they have dog A, they get dog B, and there's an issue, is because of the initial day one introduction is done wrong. That day one introduction has to be done slowly, controlled, everything being handled in a calm, confident manner, and it should always start with the pack walk. Walking together, not smelling each other's butts, not playing on the leashes, traveling, we're in a car, keep your hands to yourself routine. So when we do the slow walk, the pack walk together, and then, when you get the second dog B, they should have a designated area that's in a quiet area of the home. You bring them in, you let them go into that quiet area, preferably a crate, and let them settle down because it's overwhelming to the new dog. After a certain amount of time, you bring the second dog out. All dogs should be on a leash at this point, and you just have them coexist in the living area of the house calmly. Because you want to represent the inside of your house is not about play. If you have a yard, that's where the play is out in the yard. So the inside of the house has to be calm. So you bring them out on leashes and you just chill out, watch TV, whatever, keeping the dogs in a controlled environment at safe distance apart where they can still get the scent of each other. They can read the energy of the other. And then if you see any unwanted behaviors from any of the dogs, you just make simple leash corrections, nope, and get them to go back to a calmer state of mind. Because remember, when we're doing the journey of dog training, it's not about the physical control, it's about the mental control. You never really want to physically control the dog. I mean, if you have to, if they're pulling on a leash, you're going to physically control them, but that's never the goal, to physically control a dog. It's always to go for the mental, so they understand as a calm, confident pack leader, they want to follow you and make you happy. They want to please us. So if you do this process and you take the time, and eventually once they come out of the crates and they're together and you don't see really any excitement, you can drop the leashes, see how they react, and slowly let them and build up the duration on how long they're going to be out together in the main living area of the home. And continue doing pack walks, of course, because it's so important to the dogs. You will see a lot of this nonsense that I get phone calls on isn't there, because you're respecting dog A's. Hey, this is my territory. This was my territory for so long before dog B came in, and dog B's understanding. Okay, this is how we need to exist inside of this home. And if you do this, can day in, day out, calm, confidence, consistency. That's the third C. The process shouldn't take that long. Are they going to be BFFs right away? No, they may never be BFFs. The object is to get them to coexist in the same space without worrying about a fight. Will there be days that aren't as good as some days? Of course. Hell, I grew up with brother and sister. There were days we got along great. There were days we didn't get along great. That's nature. So again, if you take your time and you do this right, you will see that this progression works. And then they can coexist. And they should always be supervised, at least for the first 2 weeks to a month. When they're together, they should be supervised. And when I say that, that's not, well, I'm cooking dinner and they're out in the living room. That's not supervised. Supervised is we're in the same space. If I'm cooking dinner and I have a new dog in place, that new dog's going to go be put in the crate while I'm distracted by cooking dinner. It's supervised, it's controlled, it's peaceful. There should be no stress involved in this. Because if you're stressed in any state of any manner, you are going to not become confident. And this goes, guys, what I'm talking about with this whole theory of bringing a new dog into your home, this can be the same method can be used when, okay, I have a dog, I'm going to my kid's house, they have a dog, and I need to introduce the dogs. Everything needs to be done based on a controlled, calm environment. So if I got a dog, I'm bringing Zoe to somebody's house that they never met before, we're going to go start with a pack walk. We're going to do a pack walk. I'm going to allow the dog that lives in that house to go in first. I'm going to bring Zoe in a calm, controlled state of mind. And then we're going to keep them on leashes until I read what's going on, and then we'll make a decision at that point. So if everything starts off as not, oh my God, we got your new playmate and we let him out in the yard and let him run around, there's no rules there. There's absolutely no structure, no rules. You're not going to have control, and that's when we can have the potential of a conflict interaction, which we never want. And guys, most of the time when they do get into this contest, it's a lot of noise. It sounds horrible. You very rarely do you see blood from those things, but it could happen. But when that happens, I'm sorry to say it, it's 100% human error. If we bring them in and everything is based on common for the first 2 weeks to a month, even the yard, if you have a fenced-in yard, that needs to be represented as calm to all the dogs, so you don't get the roughhouse play as much outside, and it's easier to control when they do. So when you bring a new dog into your home, and I'm going to use a dog that I did a board and train with, when I brought Duke out, when I was working with Duke, out into my yard, I had 3/4 of an acre fenced in when I lived up north. Duke always went out on a leash. We walked the yard in a calm, controlled manner, and he understood now the yard doesn't represent free for all, rushing around like a lunatic. It was easier for me to control him when I did allow him to be off leash in the yard. With other dogs, with himself, by himself, whatever it was, he understood now, oh, okay, this is not a playground. This still has some structure here, not as much structure as inside my house, but there was still structure. And if you think about how we grew up in school, we were definitely more structured inside of a classroom than we were inside the schoolyard during recess. But there were still very clear rules during recess. So it's all how we handle it. And if we learn to slow it down and don't force BFFs, don't force them to be BFFs, let them come to this conclusion on their own, normally they become BFFs. That's how it just works. The problem is we tend to force the issue and we want this to happen yesterday. That's not reality. How many times do you start a new job and you go there, you're not going to be BFFs with everybody in the office. It's going to take time to build that type of trust to where you can go hang out, have a drink or whatever. Same thing with the dogs. Same thing with dogs that show stranger danger. The biggest problem with dogs that exhibit stranger danger is that people tend to see the dog going, oh, I'm not comfortable with this, and we rush them because we want them to like us and love us and trust us. Give them time. So that's the lesson of the week, guys, is calm confidence introducing new dogs together. If you take your time and you do it right, it works. We're going to try to get more videos going. I'm not having a big turnout today. It's probably a gorgeous weekend all across the country, so we're going to wrap it up early today, which is fine by me. Um, but with that being said, guys, if you watch this later on in the replay, please put your comments in. And as always, I appreciate you guys watching my videos and letting me come into your home each and every other Saturday morning and each and every Tuesday evening. But with that being said, we're going to wrap it up since we're not getting a lot of comments today. As always, thank you for inviting me into your homes. I appreciate it. It's truly an honor and a privilege to be here. As always, stay healthy, stay safe, God bless, and remember, together we can help one dog and one family at a time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys, and we will see you Tuesday evening at 8 o'clock. Sorry for the short presentation, but like I said, not getting any comments, so I hope you guys catch me on the replay. Just let me know. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys.